everyone, I'm Karen at Close to My Heart, and we are going to be doing another process video today. I love doing them. I hope you enjoy watching them and maybe learn a thing or two here and there. Before we get started though, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss a single Close to My Heart video. Let's take a look at what I brought to show you first. I recently turned 57 and decided to do a layout about myself, turning 57, and used a fun clock stamp set. But the thing that I loved about this page is that I added a little sparkle and shine. It also has a spot for hidden journaling. That's something I love to do, because if I wanted this much journaling on my page, look how much space that takes off, where if it hides behind something, it gets to live in space that's being used already. But as I was thinking about what photo that I wanted to photos scrapbook today in our process video, I grabbed one from many years ago at Christmas when we only had, I think, 7 grandkids. We now have 13. And I love that they're all in their little Christmas Eve PJs on Christmas Eve at our house. And I felt like this is a photo that I wanted to just scrapbook all by itself. It's probably already on another page from that year's Christmas, but I also wanted it to have its own page because I wanted to talk about each of these cute little kiddos and what I loved about them at this age. So when I pulled this one out, there were 2 things I thought of. First of all, loved all the glitter and shine on here, and we know you guys love that because our glitter cardstock, our shimmer trim, all of those things do very well here at Close to My Heart, because who doesn't want a little extra sparkle and shine on their pages? The other thing that stood out to me was this page probably could work for this photo, although this photo is horizontal and this one is vertical. But I feel like maybe I could turn my pattern this way or this way. Maybe I'll do it that way because I kind of like the idea of the title being below my photo, and use the same kind of sizes and measurements pretty much that I've done on this page. And that's just a really great tip. If you have a page you love and you pull out a photo that's about the same size, or photos that are the same sizes and orientations, then why not duplicate it? Because you would never know that done in different papers and different kind of colors and all of those things. So I'm going to use this page today as my guide and help me to know about the sizes and things I want of things. But I'm going to be scrapbooking this page. And what I challenged myself to do this month, I always try to challenge myself to do something fun when I do a process video with you guys, to use lots of glitter and shine. So I brought some of our glitter cardstocks, which you can see are amazing. I brought some of our shimmer trim, which is like a tape with a sticky backing on it, so you can pull it off and it just sticks to your page. I brought that in a few different colors. I brought some of our glittery gems. We have some silver glittery gems, and then there are some that go with one of our paper packets that have bronze and white and kind of a more pewtery, deeper silver color. I brought those. So I brought lots of different things that are glittery. In addition to that, I brought some stamp sets that I thought might be fun to work into this page. I brought a Christmas stamp set that is, I think, really elegant, which will be fun with all that glitter. I brought one that says "Joy to the World." Don't know if I'll use it, but it's such a fun stamp. I thought maybe I could work it in. And then this one is one that I've been playing with and love. It's called "Check This Out," and it looks like a library card. It comes with a die cut that cuts a pocket for the library card and one for the library card that has stitches around it. So I thought maybe that would be a fun way to do my journaling for this page. So I brought that. I always have to plan a little ahead of time before we do these process videos, because I'm in a video studio and all the supplies are upstairs in the art studio here at Close to My Heart, so I have to know what to bring down. I also brought some colored pencils, knowing that these stamps had some lined images in them and that I would probably want to add some color to those. Brought several stamp pads in colors that just were in that photo. I also brought a bunch of pattern papers that I thought might be pretty with this photo, as well as cardstocks that I thought might be nice to mix into. So I've got all of this to choose from. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh, I also even brought a few Distress Oxide pads one that's kind of a soft color like this, and one that's more of a deeper color like this pine color. So I brought those down. I don't know. We'll see what we come up with. But I think what we'll start doing is just picking out some papers and cutting them. And I already know what I want my base to be, because if there is a diagonal stripe paper anywhere to be found, you will find me grabbing it and using it as a base. And you might be thinking, why would you ever use stripes as your base? Well, I like to use stripes as my base and then put something on top of it, but then all the little stripes show around the corners or the edges. And there is a diagonal stripe paper that I grabbed. Just need to find it somewhere in here. Oh, right there. Isn't that pretty? And the thing that I love about diagonal stripes for using on a base, when something lays on top of it, if it's a straight stripe, then let's see if I can sort of turn that like it were straight. Then when I put my paper on it, then I'm covering up. It looks weird, different from different directions. But when you have a diagonal stripe, can you see what happens? I love how that creates that really fun stripy border. So because there's some Christmas paper that we have right now, actually it's not just Christmas paper, it's anything. It's called Silver Bells. I am going to use that to use as my base, because I'm always thrilled when we have papers with diagonal stripes. So I'm just going to cut the zip strip off the top here. All of our pattern papers have these little zip strips. On one side it just has the information for the kit, but the other side is a fun border, and you just cut it off and then you have a 12-inch piece. So since I have a 12-inch piece of diagonal stripe and I want lots of that to show, I'm going to try and pick a paper next that could leave a bigger border. I think I want a bigger border than I have on this one because I want these diagonal stripes to show. So I'm thinking maybe I cut it like 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. So I'm just going to start pulling in a few papers here. See what I like to kind of ground the photo. I feel like that's too much brown. I want it to feel a little more Christmassy than that. But I also really like the bright red in the photo. And I might not want to put any red on my page. I did bring some. But I'm thinking that that way the photo will really pop. So what do I think about this? That feels a little too busy of a pattern. I like this. So that's going to be a maybe. But I also want to bring in some glitter. And I'm just going to play a little bit with some glittery paper cardstock here to see what color of that I like. Okay, I like that. That's pretty. That's our pine. Seabrook. I don't like that with this because that's just going to blend in and not pop. So I also brought some gold down. Okay, I think that's the answer right there. I think I'm going to layer this on some gold to have some in between there, and also maybe under this square that's going to be under the main part of my layout. So I think I'm going to cut this gold about 3/4 of an inch smaller than my stripes. So 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. I did bring cardstocks in lots of different colors, as you saw. Also, here's a trick. When you're cutting glitter paper, turn it upside down when you cut it, because then it doesn't dull your blade as much, because the blade is mostly going through this side. Of course, it is also going through the glitter, but not as much as if it were facing up. So we're going to go 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. That's going to be so maybe here I want to go 11 by 11. I'm liking that little border around there for the gold. So I'm going to just cut this 1/4 inch smaller so that it's just a fun little edge. Let's see how that's looking so far. Okay, I'm really happy with that right there. I don't know if you can see the glitter very well on screen on camera, but it is really sparkly. At some point I'll probably move over to our close-up camera and you'll be able to see it a lot better there. One thing to know when you're gluing something to glitter paper, you probably either want to use a foam tape because that sticks to it really well, or glue dots, or our liquid glass. And I'm just going to use some foam tape really quick because I think that's what I've got close by. And you might gasp when I put my foam tape on because I like a lot. But if you like less, then great. When you make your pages, you put less. I'm not going to cover every ounce of the back here, but I am going to give it a good sturdy edge and a little bit in the middle so that it doesn't collapse on my page. You know, when you put your stuff in your book and it just all that weight of the other pages in the book, I just don't want it to look like it caved in. Don't worry, that was already a partially used roll. You might be going, you just used a whole roll on that one piece. No, I didn't. You also don't have to take the backing off all of your foam tape. It can still do the same job of holding up your pieces without having to be all of it sticky, as long as the edges are sticky and maybe one piece in the middle is sticky. And if I add this to my gold, I think it's going to stick really great because foam tape is extra sticky. You know that if you've ever put something down with our foam tape and then tried to move it later. It's not an easy task. I'm going to just add some adhesive because I feel really confident about this part of my layout already. It's so handy that I already have a layout here that I'm using as my kind of my inspiration and pattern. So I don't have to think too much. Okay, then I think I want to use white in the middle because I want to do another layer of glitter. This one's made with our Color of the Year Journey. This is just a monochromatic layout. But on this layout, like I said, I've got lots of color in that photo, but I want it to really pop. So I'm thinking white back here with maybe another layer of glitter around it. So let's see. If this is 6 inches wide and I want to put maybe a 1/2 inch matte, maybe I want my piece of white maybe I don't know, 8-inch square. That feels about right. Let's just try that. I feel like if anything, I would go maybe a little bit smaller, so I feel safe cutting at 8. Let's see how that looks. Like that, but actually it's feeling a little too stark. Now that I've cut that, the good news is I can always use white daisy on almost anything, so this will not go to waste, but I'm not loving that stark white. I'm wondering if I have another pattern paper that maybe has a lot of white in it, but this doesn't feel quite as stark on there. I don't love that. That's a for sure. Not on there anyway. I do love that paper. Oh, here's a little Swiss dot. On one side it's a Swiss dot, the other side it's a plaid. I like the Swiss dot. It's just enough that it's not quite as stark white. So I'm going to do that in 8x8. And I'm sure I will use that white daisy. While I'm cutting, I should tell you, there are lots of things I do out of white daisy and I always have extras up. I always have white daisy right on my desk, not just filed in with all my other paper colors. I also always have tons of white daisy pieces cut, like circles and shapes and things that I keep in a little container on my desk because I use them so much. Okay, I'm liking that, and I think I want a little bit of glitter behind that. So that's 8, either 8 1/4 or 8 1/2. I'm going to stick with the gold, I think. Maybe I want that to be a little bit wider than this one. It's always easier to go smaller, right? So let's do 8 1/2. It's always a little nerve-wracking to do this because, you know, you have a general idea of what you might want to do, but it doesn't always turn out quite like that. Okay, I'm liking how that's looking. I feel like those polka dots, maybe on camera, it's hard to see. I'm going to move this over so you can see the difference on the close-up camera. You can see maybe that there's some little tiny polka dots on there where this one just felt a little too bright white. I like that better. Probably is so subtle that it's hard to see on camera, but I think it makes a big difference in person. Okay, let's go back here and create a little bit. I am gonna, I think I'm gonna just lay everything else on here before I glue anything else down. All right, now I gotta figure out what I wanna do with that photo to mat it. I always love a white around a photo, but since we're on a white, I think I might need a double mat. So maybe I bring back in that piece that I knew would not go to waste. And I'm just going to cut this at 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 since that is a 4 by 6 photo. And then decide what color I want behind that. I don't think I want more glitter. I feel like this might be plenty of glitter right here. Okay, we've got some. I did bring some scarlet down to see what I thought. I do not like. I want that red to just be on its own. So maybe pine would look pretty behind there with this deep color to ground it since we've got the lighter colors out there. I like that, but I think I want the matte to be a little wider so that the two are not exactly the same. So if this is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, then I'm going to try 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 here and see how I like that. That'll give me a 1/2 inch mat. Okay, I really like that. So I need a title. And I did bring, so this is another thing that I like to do. When I'm working with a stamp set, quite often I'll cut extra pieces of that stamp set and that I'm using and then throw them in the envelope. So I have a bunch of pieces for this stamp set. I've got a 'Tis the Season, a December to Remember. What else did I have in that envelope? I have Holiday Memories. That's cute. I also have a bunch of the bows and a few of these holly leaves in here that I just have, that I just throw in my stamp set when I'm done creating something. I haven't die cut that one yet though. I'm liking, I love the words Holiday Memories, but I don't love that shape on there. A December to Remember or 'Tis the Season, I feel like are the two in the running for me. Like how this is looking because I also am thinking since I have this bow, I could put a bow here and maybe make a swag out of this cute holly piece. That might be cute coming out from underneath. So I think I'm going to try and go that direction. These are line stamps, and like I said, I brought some colored pencils. And so I'm just going to do a little bit of coloring for you on camera, and then we will edit and move forward so you don't have to watch me color all the pieces here and decide what I want to do. So let me move over here where you can see better because I love our new colored pencils. These we just got last summer. There are 3 different sets. This one is the one called Natural Landscape. It's all blues and greens and browns, things that are just in nature. And there's one brown that I already know this about because I use it all the time that has a little bit of a reddish cast to it. So I think I'm going to start, but it won't compete with this because it's a way more muted red. And we've got all this other kind of browns and golds that I think it will be nice. I think I'm going to just start by coloring a bow this color. So when you color with colored pencils, you always want to have kind of a flat edge that you're coloring on. So I like to take my pencil and just on a scratch piece of paper, let me move this where you can see, color so that I create a flat angled edge. And then when you color with it, you really have no lines because you're using that flat edge instead of a pointy edge. So I'm just lightly coloring this bow. One of the things I love about this stamp set is that it gives us cheater lines to be able to easily know right where to shade. Don't even have to think twice. You can see how smooth that is. These are such a good colored pencil. They blend so beautifully. And then you can always go back and add a little bit of depth to your color. So I'm going to color this bow and give you a little quick coloring lesson since right now my coloring coloring tool, I guess, of choice is colored pencils. I'm loving these colored pencils we just got. I tend to pull them out with almost everything I make right now because it's hard to not have a beautifully colored image with these. They color so well. Okay, I'm just going to add a little more depth over here. And we'll see if I like this. I'm going to do a bunch of hollies, and I've got my title already cut out that I'll probably add on here. So through the magic, you're going to see us fade away, and then I'll come back with a bunch of colored pieces. Okay, as you can see, it's funny how it goes so much faster than for you than me, but I've got all my pieces colored now. I don't know how many of these I'll use. And actually, as I was playing with this just now, I was thinking I may want to stamp my title direct because I think it would be really pretty to add a little bit of Distress Oxide behind that title. I love that look. So I'm going to just try that. First, I probably should glue a few things together. So I think I'll just add my photo here. While I'm putting this together, something else I brought down with me to the video studio because I use them all the time. I have a container on my desk, I was mentioning that earlier, full of pieces. I use it all the time, and a lot of those are circles. I did bring some circles. I don't know if we'll be using those, but I did bring some. I think I'm going to do a little bit of, where are those Distress Oxide inks? There we go. I think I'll start with this color. I'm afraid it might be a little too blue. We'll see. I can always cover it up with a darker one or blend them together or something. So I'm just going to grab a couple blending brushes here. And it's nice that I have this cut out because I can at least use it to help me kind of decide where I want it to be. If I do this bow here, like we were saying, I'm going to need this to be down a little lower, I think. In fact, I think I might need to move this up a tiny. That gives me a little more space to play. I like that. Okay, so let's do some blending. I love Distress Oxide inks. I use them a lot. And I always just dab it off before I put it down on what I'm actually blending it onto so that I don't get a blob. So I'm trying to move this over so you can see what I'm doing. It's way more fun to see than just hear me tell you what I'm doing. Okay, that's about where I want it. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Just start adding a little bit. It's easier to, you think it's easier actually, to put a bunch of color on there to begin with, but really that's just going to give you really blobby looking color. So you want to layer your colors, your color or colors, and continue to layer until it becomes the shade you want it to be so it stays nice and soft like what you're seeing going on right there. And I am feeling like that's feeling a little bit blue. So I wonder what would happen if I added just a little bit of this darker green on top. I grabbed them both thinking neither one were probably quite the right color. And I love that about Distress Oxides, that you can just blend them together so nicely, whether it's like graduating from one color to another. Oh, that's going to be perfect, isn't it? Graduating from one color to another, or layering them together to get a color you want. Okay. You know what? I'm actually going to use that. I was thinking I was going to stamp it directly, but I'm using it. Especially since I already put that on foam tape. I think this will be the way to go. So I'm just going to add some adhesive. Not enough that it will be too hard if I need to move it a little once I start putting things together, but I'm feeling like it's going to need to go down low like this so that I have room for that bow. See how that looks underneath? I love that. It would have been pretty stamped directly too, I think. I need a little more adhesive. It's not going to stay where it belongs. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to just start playing with this bow and some holly sprigs I cut and colored a bunch. I also need to remember I need a place to add my journaling, and I did bring that cute library card thing to do journaling on. So I think I'll cut the pocket and the card and stamp those and see if there's a way to fit this all on here. My ink's still slightly wet. My title's not sticking very well. Okay, I'm really liking how that's looking. And maybe I should go where you can see it from further away so you guys can get the look of the whole layout like I am. Let me move back over here. You can already see I'm making a mess. Are you guys messy scrapbookers like me? Luckily, I can scooch a lot of it right off the camera where you don't have to see it. I'm looking at this feeling like this is maybe a little too rusty, so I might bring in a darker brown and just layer a little colored pencil of that on top. You can also layer colored pencils that blend really well like these, like you see me doing, kind of like what I was doing with the Distress Oxide inks. If you don't have the exact right color, I still like that it's got that reddish cast to it, but I think this is deepening it just a little bit, and I'm using one of the darkest browns in the set. Okay, let's see if I like that a little better. Yes, I do. I do like that better. That's beautiful. All right, I think I'm gonna go cut myself a library pocket and stamp a library card and see if there's a way to put that on here and have it all fit nicely on my page. Here we go. Okay, I cut a pocket out of a really subtle background paper. It's a linen looking paper. And I stamped and cut my library card. It comes out from over here. That's cute. I think this will have to come over here a little more that though. I don't know that I don't know that I mind that it's a little off center. I think that's kind of fun. Maybe I'd even have a bunch of these guys. Maybe one of them comes over here. Oh, I like that. That's bringing it over to the side a little bit. I have enough that I could tuck a few more in here too. Maybe I will. Okay, I'm really happy with how this is turning out, and I do like that library pocket poking out from there. So what I think I'll do is take a pencil. I know I've got one around here somewhere, and just kind of mark where I have it so that I can then glue it down. I'm going to just center this on my mat here so that I make sure I have everything nice and straight. I think this can come out. And I'm just going to do some really subtle lines so I can lift this up and then glue it on. Awesome, I can see that. So the pocket just folds under like this, and then you just put your adhesive on these little tabs so that this can go in and out. It's great for a card or a layout. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to this and put it on my page where I marked it to be. That's cute. I'll also show you how to cut your page protector really quick at the end here so you can see how to do that. I want this to show just a tiny, this pocket, so I am going to move it over a little. I like how that looks. Maybe I even want it a little higher. Do I like that? Why, yes, I do. I think I'm going to put that down. And glitter paper is a heavier cardstock, so I do tend to use more adhesive when I put down anything with glitter. Okay, now I think I want to see if, and I'm happy where my title is now, so I'm just going to add a little more adhesive there. I'm just going to build my little center bow. I think I'm going to put that on foam tape. and then let those holly sprigs poke out from underneath. Isn't this an elegant stamp set? I love how it looks, and I love the papers that are part of this collection. I think I'm using papers from a couple of different collections here. I guess that's also a really great tip. People always think they have to stick papers to papers that come all in one kit together, and I love to mix them all up. I think I have done that on this layout. Okay, I'm gonna just take the adhesive off the center of this, and then I can reach underneath the edges of that bow and move some things around if I need to. I want to move over just a little so that the S shows. It might be slightly off center, but we'll just play an eye trick and make sure that this side pokes out a little more. I'm just going to start adding some of these cute holly sprigs. Got quite a few. Make a swag. This part stick out a little more so that it looks like it's centered even though it's not. Aha. And I think I want a little piece poking down from underneath. Just going to cut that one. Put it just underneath a little bit here. So there. Ooh, that looks cute. And I might just want a little tiny bit poking out right there. I think so much of scrapbooking is just playing until you get the look you want, which is what I'm doing here, obviously. There we go. All right, I am really, really happy with how this is looking. I need to do a little bit of journaling, but I think I might even do this on my journaling card. Let's do that. Why not? I think that'll tie it in and soften the white a little bit since we've done that everywhere else. I used intense black ink to stamp with. That is always my go-to ink because it is formulated for any time you want to color something in without it smearing or smudging, or I love it for when I want to do something like what I'm doing here using Distress Oxide on the top. You do need to let it dry just a little bit, but once it's dry, it's not going to budge and it's not going to smudge something you've worked hard on. Okay, I think I need some of this on top of it since I did that with the other part of the layout. And then I think we might be ready to embellish our page. That'll be pretty to write on. So I'll just plan on writing that in just a minute. I think I want to go ahead and embellish my page now, because you don't want to watch me write. When we do the cover for this, what's the word? Video. Sometimes the words just don't come. When we do the cover for this, then we can, I'll have that all written. I'll do that after we are finished with the video, and then we'll shoot a picture of this. Okay, I'm liking how this looks. I don't have that pushed in all the way, but I am going to do a little bit of embellishing. So I'm going to bring some of the other sparkly things in that I brought, since the whole goal here is to be sparkly. Ooh, I just realized this stamp set has months and years, and I'll probably use some of that on this card with my writing. Okay, we got silver, and then we've got a darker silver and a bronze and a white. So I'm gonna get all those out and just play. Ooh, I like the brown, don't you? Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, I'm gonna do that for sure. Some of those. Maybe I'll mix in some of these others. Maybe tuck a few in by the title and the swag here. These little tiny baby ones are my favorites. They even are matching the berries I colored. Love that. That's turning out cute. I'm happy with it. I do think we want, I feel like there's got to be a way to put some shimmer trim on my page here, because can you ever really have too much bling? Where did I put all those shimmer trims? It's amazing. Oh, here they are. Well, since I use gold, I definitely don't want to use the silver. And that, if I use it like washi tape, I think I'm going to go with the lighter one since it's on the dark here. I'm going to move back over here where you can see close up because I want to show you a trick with shimmer trim that everyone needs to know. When you get your shimmer trim, it comes on this little roll. And when you open it up, you have a little bit of a leftover piece of the shiny that it's on. And if you cut that off, then you have to deal with trying to pull it apart the next time you use it. So here is my trick of the day. I pull off what I want, leave this little plastic tail on there. I'm just going to pull off a little more than I would maybe want just so I have plenty. And then trim that off. And then the next time I go to use it, I have that so it's easy to pull off. I'm thinking I could use this right here like washi tape. It's a little longer than I want. I'm just going to cut it a little shorter. Oh, moving down. Ashley is on it, our camera lady over there. She's like, move that down where people can see. Do I want some more below? I think right about there. I'm even going to angle it. Oh, that's cute. So it's almost like a little sparkly washi tape. I've got my little journaling pocket. I'm just going to slide this down into, and I will go journal right now so that we have a good journaling or a good picture of this at the end. I'm also going to show you how to cut your page protector. I think I brought one down here somewhere. Yes, I did. No, that one won't work. Hold please. We will now do another quick pause and you will come back and I will have a page protector. Okay, I have a page protector. If I put this down into my page protector, obviously where I put my journaling, you cannot get to it, right? So I'm going to show you what I do. I'm just going to take a pencil and mark the beginning and ending of that little envelope. Pull my page back out. And I'm just going to slide a scratch piece of cardstock or something down in here. I probably have one somewhere. Here we go. Here's a white piece. To use almost like a cutting mat. You can use an actual cutting mat. Quite often I do use a cutting mat. I just don't have one right here right now. And I'm going to grab a ruler so that I'm straight. And I'm going to put my ruler right here and take the tip of my scissors. You could also use an X-Acto knife. And I'm just going to put the tip of my scissors in at one of those little spots I marked and go right along my ruler till I get to the other one of those so that I now have a nice cut in my page. Then when you put your page down in, you want to take out the part that's the journaling. Slide your page down there. So I now have that little slit and I can take my journaling piece, slide it right in there. And then when it's in my book, it's easy to access and read. It's awesome. Great way to be able to access your journaling. In fact, I did it on this one and that's the page protector I thought I had, which I didn't. Let me just show you because I'd already cut this one. I'll show you how this one's big. So I did that exact same thing that I had done just now to show you. And there's that slit right there. So this can go right into my page. And then I can, as I'm looking through my book, pull that right out and be able to read the story about being 57 years old. And now I'll be able to do the exact same thing on this one. Isn't that fun? All right, that is the end of our process video for today. I feel like that page went together really easily. It was so handy to have the page I'd already made to kind of use as my guide and my pattern. So I hope that maybe picked some ideas in your little brain, and that you will look back through your books and see pages that have similar properties to the photos that you're going to be using, and see how you might be able to duplicate that pattern, even if that means just turning pages a little bit different direction. I feel like that was a lot of fun to put together. I love the colors. I love that that red really pops, like we talked about as I was creating. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again hopefully next month for another process video.